Yo guys, welcome to the Zelda fiction. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was the Mirage Blade Fox? Part 6. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Naruto and Jiraiya began their search early the next morning. What can you tell me about this Tsunade? Naruto asked, what are we searching for? Well, she has the largest set of information that's relevant, Naruto stated. Behind Jiraiya sulked, she is a Sannin like me and Orochimaru and is the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Jiraiya spoke, she is by far the greatest medic nin in history and is considered the most powerful kunoichi. She is already considered the strongest human, her strength makes even guys look like a weakling. Naruto felt a shudder of excitement, a strong opponent, he thought, no focus, she's not an enemy, she has a horrible drinking and gambling addiction, her luck is awful. It can't be that bad, Naruto stated. Kinet. Her losing streak has earned her a title, Jiraiya said. It's the he took a dramatic pose, legendary sucker. You're supposed to be a legendary shinobi? Naruto asked. No respect, the Sannin mumbled. Would you like to hear her other title? If it's anything like. No, Jiraiya waved it off, this one will catch your attention. Well, what is it? Jiraiya smirked, the slug princess. Naruto gave Jiraiya a long blank stare through his blindfolds. After a simple minute he walked off toward their destination. Jiraiya barely heard Naruto mumbling to himself. Ahem huh. Say, Naruto, Jiraiya spoke, how would you like to sign the Toad contract? No, Naruto answered. I could teach you some ninjutsu. He tried. What kid doesn't like flashy jutsus? No thank you, Naruto answered. What? Jiraiya couldn't believe what he was hearing, but I'm a Sannin, I could teach you jutsus that would make Kakashi jealous. It's not that I don't like ninjutsu, Naruto spoke, it's just that I'm a soul gen and Kenjutsu user. But even the best in those fields use ninjutsu, Jiraiya spoke. Look at the 7 swordsmen and even the greatest Genjutsu masters. He continued, there are also situations where power is just required. Yes, I'm aware of that, Naruto admitted, that's why I have this. He gestured to his elemental sword. I can attack with all 5 elements when most have only 1 or 2. And defense. Jiraiya was sure he had him. How do you defend against a strong attack? Shouldn't I be able to rely on my partner? Naruto asked. Well, yes, he agreed, but some attacks can't be blocked easily. If I can't overpower it or hide from it, then I take the hit. Are you crazy? Jiraiya asked. Some of those attacks could kill a person on the spot. Yes, Naruto answered, I can however take a lot of punishment. But it's just Genjutsu. The last person who insulted Genjutsu ended up eating maggots. Naruto warned. Neither of them had anything else to say to the other, so it was a quiet trip. They were moving through some town when they decided to find a hotel. Hello sir, a lady spoke. Are you Jiraiya of the Sannin? Maybe, he answered. The lovely lady, who are you? I'm a fan of your work, she spoke with a blush. I must say that I love lies, he shouted. He had a low trust on women after the hot spring incident. Drop, you disguise monster. He never did find out they were illusions. I will not be bested a second time. Needless to say, things got real stupid real fast. Lucky for Naruto, he decided to go and get a room. He left the Sannin to his punishment. Knock knock. Naruto had felt 2 powerful chakra signatures at the door. One was greater than his without his fear and QB. Needless to say, he had to open the door. On the other side were 2 figures in black cloaks with red clouds. One was Kisame, a rogue member of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. The other was Itachi, older brother to Sasuke and the killer of their clan. Yes, Naruto asked, can I help you too? Naruto Uzumaki. Itachi spoke, you will come with us. I need an adult. Naruto shouted, I need an adult. We are adults. All eyes turned to Kisame. What, we are? Naruto closed the door in their faces. He didn't lock it. He had a good reason for not doing so. When the 2 opened the door, they were greeted with a horrible sight. I and Lee. Overweight. Sunset. Overweight. Lingerie. Overweight. Men hugging. Needless to say, Itachi closed the door. I did not need to see that Itachi spoke. Hey, is it getting hot in here? Kisame asked, earning a look from Itachi. What? Oh, don't look at me like. He was cut off by a large explosion of flame from the other side of the room. They were able to avoid it at the last moment without any burns. Naruto took a swing with his elemental sword and unleashed a torrent of lighting. Kisame stepped forward and unsheathed his own sword. The lighting hit full force and began to dissipate. My sword eats chakra, Kisame bragged. Your attack is useless. Naruto cut the stream and ran forward. Kisame followed suit. Their blades collided and Naruto instantly had regrets. He hadn't crossed blades with a sword this naturally heavy since Zabuza. You could only imagine the extra weight Kisame was adding. Jumping back, he drew the Kusanagi and took a stance. Dance of the poison snake. The move was precise and perfect, as always. Unfortunately for Naruto, his opponent was a S-rank ninja. Unlike Orochimaru, this one actually specialized in Kenjutsu. Kisame merely sidestepped the blows as if they weren't there. The best Naruto was able to do was put a scratch on his face. Itachi, a pain in the butt, called, I'm here to kill you. Chidori. The younger Uchiha charged forward with the intent to kill. The elder simply grabbed him by the wrist and directed the blow to the wall. Naruto had to admit, the crater was impressive. The explosions began to draw a lot of attention from citizens. Many started leaving their rooms to see the cause of the commotion. This would make it difficult for Naruto to fight. Alright Itachi, Naruto spoke, how about we do this in a Genjutsu duel? I'm listening. If you win, then I come with you, he offered, and if I win, then you two take Sakura Haruno in my place. Did you say Haruno? Itachi asked. Hell no. Please. No, Itachi spoke, how about we just leave you alone? Fine. A poof of smoke appeared and Jiraiya appeared on a giant toad. His pose was so ridiculous the toad looked embarrassed. It is I, Jiraiya of the… Shut up, Naruto ordered, I have it under control. Naruto began undoing his blindfold as Itachi's Sharingan began to change. Since I was the one challenged by you two, I choose the battlefield. Naruto spoke, I assert reality. What's the game? Asked Itachi, and the rules. First a hesitator fails to come up with an idea, Naruto spoke, loses. The whole area began to change as the two shinobi activated their Genjutsu to the fullest. Reality really did shift and change under the skill of the two Genjutsu masters. Even the civilians and other shinobi were drawn into the world of illusions. They became nothing and everything, the power of illusion. Warning. The battle isn't much of a battle, it's just one-upping, so no whining about it, I'll make it up next chapter. Naruto made the first move. I am the dire wolf. He spoke, a prey-stalking lethal prowler. Reality began to take form, a dire wolf came forward from nothing. It began to growl and snarl as it lunged toward Itachi, fangs bare. I am a hunter, Itachi spoke, horse-mounted and wolf stabbing. The hunter wielding a large spear appeared from nowhere. Just as Itachi described, the hunter was on top of a large horse. Naruto felt the spear pierce him. Had any of it been real, the blow would have been lethal. I am the horsefly, Naruto spoke, horse stinging and hunter throwing. Konoha. Shino Aburam almost cracked a smile. He knew somewhere someone was using an insect for something other than insult. Itachi felt the fly bite him as if he were the horse. He also felt the unseen ground as the hunter was tossed. I am the spider, Itachi spoke, fly-consuming and eight-legged. Naruto felt himself wrapped in the hungry spider's merciless web. From the shadows the large arachnid made its was down the webs. He felt as the fangs pierced him and drained his blood. Konoha. Shino lost his almost smile. I am the snake, Naruto spoke, spider devouring and poisoned tooth. The snake swallowed the spider in one gulp. Naruto knew from experience what that was like. He actually took a little pleasure as the insect squirmed for its freedom. I am the ox, Itachi groaned, snake crushing and heavy-footed. Heavy-footed is right, Naruto could feel himself crushed under the beast. Time to take this up a notch. I am disease, Naruto spoke, plague causing and warm life destroying. The ox body of Itachi began to rot away. For a second, a minor second, Itachi showed an emotion, fear. Not at the challenge but at the choice. So I struck a nerve, he decided to act as if Itachi hadn't hesitated. I am a world, Itachi spoke, life nurturing. This caught many off guard, especially Sasuke. Itachi Uchiha, nurturing. I am a nova, Naruto spoke, all destroying and planet cremating. Itachi felt as he was burned to nothing but was never even touched. I am the beyond, Itachi spoke, past the stars and life embracing. Time to end this. I am the anti-life, Naruto spoke, the beast at the end that will consume all. Naruto stepped forward, even you, Itachi, but disease is already working on that. Itachi jumped back and broke the illusion, he lost. Itachi Kisame called, what happened, you never lose in Genjutsu. He caught me by surprise. Itachi spoke. Well, let's grab the brat and go. Kisame took a swing at Naruto and cut through his legs. Izanagi. Naruto appeared unharmed. Itachi was caught by surprise at what he had saw. Naruto had used an Uchiha-only technique, capable only by the Sharingan. Or so he thought. Man, Naruto thought, even with my fear that sword took a huge chunk out of my reserves. Let's go, Kisame, Itachi ordered, we're leaving. But. Now his tone brokered no argument, he turned to Naruto, before we leave, what beats the anti-life? He had to know. Naruto couldn't help but smirk when he answered hope. Itachi gave a nod of understanding before leaving. Neither Naruto nor Jiraiya tried to follow them. Well, that was. Sasuke growled, how did you make Itachi retreat? I used a technique I learned in this scroll, he held out a blue scroll. Sasuke snatched and immediately tore it open to read. Dear team. You deserve this. Dodge. Pink paint launched itself onto Sasuke's forehead in small letter. It read. I love pink-haired and big four-headed girls. Wah. He never finished as Naruto punched him unconscious. Naruto Jiraiya spoke, was that. Dynamic entry. Jiraiya felt a powerful kick land on his face. Hello Guy Sensei, Naruto greeted, I need a favor. What can I do for such a youthful friend of mine? Unlike Tenten, Guy didn't resent Naruto for what happened to Neji. If I cannot do it, then I. Well, Naruto spoke, cutting him off. I need you to unclothe Sasuke team and leave him in front of his fangirls. Consider it done, guy spoke. That's it? Naruto asked. You're not going to complain or ask anything on stripping an underage boy? It's not my first time, guy admitted. How do you think Lee and Neji get patched up after Tenten has a fit? So true. Tenten held nothing back with her babies, as she called them. Thank you, sensei, Naruto spoke. Here's a tortoise to go with Lee's turtle. He handed it over. Careful now, Naruto warned. Lee's is male, so don't leave them alone. You carry tortoises with you? Jiraiya asked. I will keep them from breeding, guy shouted, ignoring Jiraiya, and if I cannot, then I will train the babies to be youthful. Now Naruto stated, let's go find us a female Sannin. Their journey hadn't been too long before Jiraiya met his informant in a strip club. Apparently my Genjutsu side effect only works when he's not paying. How sad is that? From what he was told, Tsunade was in the village they were now entering. Now all they had to do was find her and convince her to return home. Okay, Naruto, Jiraiya spoke. My sources told me she's somewhere in here. He looked around. Look for any signs of unnatural damage near bars or casinos, he ordered. She tends to get aggravated when she loses. He took a serious tone. We could be here for a while, so I need to do research to gain some information while you. Or Naruto spoke, cutting him off. I could look for the largest chakra source in the area. Censors. Jiraiya's side takes all the fun out of the hunt. Hunt? Naruto questioned. We are trying to find our future leader, not be predators. Naruto shouted. We get enough of that from Orochimaru, and there is my first Irachi pedo joke. With no better plan, they decided to follow Naruto's idea. They ended up in front of a bar just as Jiraiya stated they would. They found Tsunade with her assistant and a pig. I was denied rabbit stew, now I can make up with pork. Tsunade, Jiraiya called. Long time no see. Jiraiya? She was shocked to say the least. What are you doing here? What? He feigned hurt. Can't I visit an old friend? No, she and Naruto answered. Whose side are you on? Jiraiya asked Naruto. The side that gets that pig in my belly. Naruto answered. Boink. Naruto took his eyes off the pig and the lady holding him. He was focused on the female Sannin. You're Tsunade? He asked. Yes, she answered, eyeing Naruto cautiously. And you are? I am Naruto Uzumaki, he answered proudly. Uzumaki? She asked. You're Kushina's boy? Yes, he took her hand, giving it a light kiss. It is an honor to meet you. Tsunade couldn't hold down her blush. My slugheim. Jiraiya, Tsunade spoke. If you took lessons from him, then you could actually get a lady that didn't charge. That's just not fair, Jiraiya grumbled. I am Jiraiya the gallant, why don't I get respect? He asked before pointing to Naruto. Don't you already have enough women with your girlfriend and 2 fiancés? Girlfriend? Fiancés? Boink. I'll eat you. Boink. I am in a very open relationship with my Heims, Naruto stated calmly, and QB Heim is actually demanding that I have more Heims just so she can be Alpha Heim. Well, I'm impressed, Tsunade admitted, but I'm a bit old for you. I know you're as old as this perverted toad here, Naruto stated. He almost earned a chakra punch to the face, almost, but I see no problem with that. He admitted to me it only makes you a more fine wine. Tsunade turned a shade of red that put tomatoes to shame. Why couldn't you be this smooth? She asked Jiraiya. So how open was that relationship you mentioned? Very, Naruto answered. Just 3 conditions. Which are? You must honestly love me, he stated. You come back and be our Hokage, he continued, and you let me roast that pig. What? I'm hungry, foe. No, she shouted. About being the Hokage, she glared at Jiraiya. Explain. Jiraiya told Tsunade everything that had happened and how they ended up searching for her. From Orochimaru's failed invasion to the 3rd Hokage finally stepping down. Needless to say, she was not pleased with any of it at all. Are you out of your mind, Jiraiya? Tsunade asked. Why would I want that fool title? That question struck a nerve in our favorite blonde. Is Naruto going to have to choke a bitch? The village needs you, Tsunade, Jiraiya stated. Think of all you could do to help. Forget it, she stated. I'm never going back to that village again. It looks like Naruto is going to have to choke a bitch. Pathetic, Naruto spoke. I expected better from you. What are you rambling on about? You aren't the one was I told of, Naruto stated in disappointment. Where is the woman the Hokage and this perverted fool spoke so highly of? He asked in outrage. This caused Tsunade to lower her head in shame. All I see is a spoiled woman drowning herself in her own self-pity. He gave a mock's eye. I guess Jiraiya really was the good student out of the Sannin. I feel disappointed. What happened to all that fine wine you spoke of? That spoiled, Naruto answered. Now all that's left is rotten grape juice. You want to take this outside? She asked. But Tsunade, Naruto stated. We are outside. Tsunade was confused by the statement and looked around. Sure enough, they were outside in the middle of the street. When did she look to Naruto? You? Naruto, it would be better if we weren't being eyed by passing strangers, Jiraiya stated. Real or not? Fine. And like that, it was over. The shinobi were back inside the bar. I need a drink, Tsunade groaned. I never knew why people like Genjutsu, Tsunade stated. It's only used for hiding. Tsunade, how is your sake? Tsunade knew something was wrong the minute he asked the question. She was proven correct when she felt something squirm in her mouth. There was no hesitation as she spit it all onto Jiraiya. Now the toad Sanin was covered in sake, spit and squirming maggots. Are you trying to piss me off? She asked. You could have killed me. If I wanted to do that, Naruto spoke, you'd be dead. A voice whispered in her ear, forcing her to earn around to nothing. Angering you on the other hand is so easy at almost no fun, almost. That's it, she shouted. You. Me. Outside. Lady Tsunade Shizune called. Be careful, Jiraiya warned, don't take this lightly. Don't worry, Jiraiya, Tsunade called, I won't hurt your apprentice. I was talking to you, Tsunade. Jiraiya spoke. In a rare moment of seriousness he forced Orochimaru, his elites, and the revived first two Hokages to retreat. He stated after he defeated a Hyuga and the one-tailed demon container. Please, Jiraiya, Tsunade waved off. It seems he got you with that Genjutsu a little too well. Tsunade and Naruto stood face to face outside of the bar. Shizune tried to get Tsunade to calm down, but she wasn't paying the apprentice any attention. All she wanted was to put the brat in his place. I'll give you one chance, brat, Tsunade spoke, just give up and I'll let you walk away in peace. We both know I won't, Naruto stated. Fine, Tsunade growled, I'll go easy on you. She gained a smirk. Naruto has seen far too often arrogance. I'll only use one finger to beat you. If that's how it'll be, Naruto spoke, I'll only use Genjutsu. That irked her. I'm a Sannin brat, she growled. Do you think you could beat me with simple Genjutsu? If you're like the other two Sannin, then yes. He answered. You become so focused on your own specialty that you ignore the other arts, like Genjutsu. Everything Naruto had said was completely true. Tsunade, like the others, had focused mainly on her strength and her healing. Genjutsu, or even ninjutsu, was far from her top skills. But she wouldn't admit it. I'm a Sannin, for crying out loud. That's when it happened, nothing. She felt some kind of shift, but absolutely nothing happened. It just seemed her fears came to the surface and stayed. Naruto stared at her in his simple smile. The wind blew, pushing her hair and ruffling his blindfold. It picked up harder and blew her hair loose. 1 minute he was across from her, the next he was pushing her hair back in place. He had moved with speed she couldn't see. In a swift movement, he drew his sword and cleaved her in half, from side to side. Tsunade fell to the ground in shock and untold pain. Is this how I die? It was different from what she had always expected. Killed by a child. Hey, you better not fall asleep on me, Naruto shouted. That's the same as giving up. She looked around and at herself. Her body was unscathed from the blow. Her breath hitched as she fell to her knees, trying to regain her breath. She was alive. You brat, she called, what did you do to me? I just showed you some useless Genjutsu, he mocked. I never even drew my sword, so I kept my end of the deal. Well, I'll keep to mine as well, she stated, by shoving this one finger through your skull. Tsunade ran forward in a fury, index finger raised for action. Pulling back, she let her finger fly toward Naruto's head. Naruto just stood there as the older blonde passed through him. She never had the chance as the world began to grow larger around her. No, she was growing smaller. As she shrunk, her age began to reduce. Now she was just a little kid again. If you want to keep acting like a spoiled brat, then I'll treat you like one. He spoke. I'm going to do what your parents should have done. Naruto grabbed her by her wrist and placed her over his knee. She tried to struggle, but it was as if all her strength had left her. It was as if she really was a child, so she did what all children do. She threw a tantrum. Let me go, you brat, or… Smack. Tsunade stopped in her tracks as she felt the blow to her backside. Did you just… Smack. Ow, when I get out of this I'm going to… Smack. Smack. Ouch, stop that, you. Smack. 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 Ow, wah wah, mommy. Your mother's dead. Smack. 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 Naruto finally relented and restored her to her rightful age. He sat her on her legs as she massaged her sore bottom. Tsunade turned to her apprentice Shizune and her former partner Jiraiya. She glared at the snickering pair in complete embarrassment. Tsunade in her rage ran forward, index finger raised for action. Pulling back, she let her finger fly toward Naruto's head. It seems she really intends to keep her word. Naruto just stood there as the older blonde passed through him. I'm getting real tired of this brat, she shouted. You and me both, Grandma, Naruto stated behind her. Caught off guard by the close range of the younger man, she acted on reflex. Drawing her hand back, she delivered a devastating full-powered punch to the blonde. Only for it to be blocked by the side of the Kusanagi blade he wielded. I win, Naruto stated. How? She asked. You drew your sword. Wrong, he spoke. This is still Genjutsu, he spoke, causing the area to shudder. I never even drew my blade. Then how did you block my punch? She shouted. I am a Genjutsu master, he spoke. I can make you think you punched a block of iron without your strength. With nothing more to say, he made his way back to the bar. Tsunade knew she had lost, but she wouldn't go easily. She was going to make sure she delivered a blow that hurt. If I can't hurt him physically, then I'll give one to the heart, she thought. Pathetic, she shouted, you're nothing like your mother. This stopped him just as he entered the doorway. What? Naruto growled. She never hid behind such techniques. Tsunade continued, I bet if she were alive then she would be ashamed to have you as a son. She paused. I know that's a bet I'd win. A large gash appeared on the doorway as if it had been hacked at. Another appeared and another after each other. They made their way toward Tsunade as Naruto walked toward her. Tsunade knew this wasn't Genjutsu, it was a technique she was familiar with. Quick sword. An attack that moves at high speeds that the average eyes can't match. It's used by moving a single arm at a rapid pace with no traceable chakra, pure speed. This technique would cut her down. Had she not seen it, known of it? Tsunade stepped back and opened both of her hands. Using as much chakra as she could muster, she clapped. The force her hands created caused a small shock wave. I'll admit that was impressive, Tsunade spoke, but it was far too slow. This drew confused looks. Your mother was able to pull that technique off in her sleep with far superior speed. She smirked. I really believed that she would be upset to see that you couldn't use it properly. Shut up, you old hag, Naruto shouted. I'll have this technique down pack in only a week. Really? Tsunade asked. Would you care to put a wager on it? What kind? Naruto asked. If you can master it in a week then I'll come back to Konoha. And if I fail? Always a catch. Then you give me your swords, they should help pay off my debts. He turned to leave, but not before Tsunade finished. You should get to practicing, Naruto, she mocked. Mommy won't be able to help you. He stopped. He undid his blindfold. He turned and met eyes with Tsunade. Then he turned to leave. The warm liquid began to fall on her, then another and another, like rain. However, rain didn't come in the color red. This can't be blood, but it was. Tsunade could never forget the warm feeling of that liquid across her skin. The metallic smell and flavor it carried. The memories it contained. It was blood. Tsunade was too stunned to move as it came down in a heavy pour. The bloody rain began to come down harder and faster by the second. A few feet away the drops began to stop and slide, as if on something. On someone. It began to take the faces of the two most important people to her. Ditsun and Nhinn. Be big, SSS sister. Why didn't you save us? Tsunade couldn't believe what she saw. It was her little brother and former lover. They were becoming clearer and clearer by the second in the way she best remembers them. Unfortunately for her, that wasn't a good thing. She best remembers them as they were the last time she saw them. No. Dying. No. Covered in blood. No. Suffering. No. All because she couldn't save them. Don't make me see them, she wailed. Not like this. But they wouldn't go away. They stayed there, begging for an answer. One she couldn't give. It seemed like the haunting would go on forever. That she would forever see her loved ones as some form of punishment. It almost started to seem like death would be better. That's when it happened. The world shattered. Everything was back as it should have been. She looked around and saw both Shizune and Jiraiya beside her. They were the ones who broke the Genjutsu and freed her. She looked around and there was no sign of the former host anywhere. That boy made a tough Genjutsu, Shizune observed. We almost didn't break it. Wah. Tsunade Jiraiya called. I don't know what the brat showed you, but know this, all form of the pervert was gone, only a shinobi was left. You deserved it. I. You had no right to say those things, he growled. But he is an orphan who finally found something to make him feel close to his mom. Jiraiya spoke. Then you say those things. He shouldn't have spoke. The truth, Jiraiya stated, cutting her off. You are just a shell of your former self. He gave a tired sigh. You know Kushina would be very proud of his progress, maybe even a little jealous. The toad sage turned to leave. Wait, Jiraiya saw Shizune called. What's that? In the middle of the street was a scroll. Jiraiya picked it up. It was addressed to all of them. He cautiously opened it and read it out loud. Dear old hag, pervy sage, Shizune-san, and lunch. That means you pig. If you are reading this, then you finally got the old hag out of the illusion. I'm going to blow off some steam, so stay away. Beware, Naruto. P.S. Dodge. Jiraiya did the opposite of dodging. He tossed the scroll into the air using chakra to push it further. It landed in an empty part of a park. It was the smart decision. The scroll went up in a massive ball of fire. It consumed the area. Luckily there was no one there. The park, however, would never recover from the flames. Is he trying to kill you? As Shizune asked. Probably. It was late in the night or early in the morning if you wanted to be technical. Tsunade had finally recovered from the shock of Naruto's Genjutsu. Now she was trying to find him. She had been searching for several hours with no hope. After a while she was tempted to just go and drink some sake. However, something inside her kept on pulling. Damn brat, where are you? That was when she found him. He was in an empty area that was once full of trees. Now it was mostly just splinters on cleanly cut wood left. How long has he been out here? She finally saw him. How hard has he been pushing himself? She would never know he's in Uzumaki after all. What do you want, Tsunade? Naruto asked in a cold tone. What are you doing here? Training, he answered simply. Naruto, she spoke. How would you like to add to the bet? Depends, he answered. What's the stakes? If you can finish that technique in a week, she spoke, then I'll give you this. She held out the necklace around her neck, the necklace of the first Hokage. Naruto couldn't help but eye her with great suspicion. This was, after all, one of the most valuable objects in the world. On top of that, it was a family heirloom, her family. What's the catch? If you lose, she spoke, then you give up on trying to master your mother's sword style. So that's your game, he mumbled. Pretty steep stakes on my end, don't you think? Then raise the stakes, she responded. Fine, he thought on it. If I win, then I want the pig. Taunton? Tsunade asked. Why would you want her? I'm going to eat her, Naruto stated. What else? There was no sign of humor in his voice. Tsunade was at a crossroad. By accepting the bet, she would be putting Tonton's life in danger. If she lost, then Shizune would never forgive her. I can't back out now. Deal. Gonna enjoy that pig, he thought. I'll strangle it with my bare hands, watch the lights drain from its eyes. And eat her for dinner that night. His mouth was watering in anticipation. Tail, gristle, teeth, all of it, but until then. How would you like to have dinner with me, Tsunade? He asked her breakfast at this point. After all that, she shouted. You have the balls to ask me out on a date? Yes, I do, he answered immediately. You little. I have rare sake, Naruto cut in from Kumo. I want to play poker while we eat. Tsunade would never admit it. You could bribe or torture her and she'd never admit it. That was a wonderful date. Out loud. All they did was play poker while eating and drinking sake. Yet it had been one of the best dates she ever had. The last one that good was with her former lover. And she shook the thoughts away. It would do her no good at this point. Tsunade looked toward the blonde Chunin walking her to her hotel room. All night or morning, he had been a gentleman. Sure, he flirted, but so did she. Not once did he make any perverted comments. Not once did he try to make any sexual gestures. Not once did he stare at her chest. They finally made it to her room. Tsunade took another look at the blonde boy. It's been fun, but here we go, the part where he wants to come. I had a nice time, Naruto spoke. I'll see you tomorrow. Inside. What? When? What? Boo. Stop that. She shouted. Why are you saying goodbye? Tsunade asked. Why aren't you trying to come in for sex? Because I never had any intentions of sleeping with you. He admitted. But she couldn't believe her ears. Are you saying that because of my age? No, What about all that flirting? She asked. Though I was fine wine. Your age isn't important, Naruto stated. I'm 13 and none of my Heims are under 20. Then why? Because you may be a Heim, but you aren't my Heim. He stated seriously. I won't try to sleep with everyone I take on a date. Are you sure you're a man? She asked skeptically as she folded her arms. You think so, he answered. So does Samui and QB. Well, they wait, QB? She asked, as in the nine-tailed fox QB. Yep. Well, good night, Tsunade spoke. See you in a week, Naruto returned. Tsunade would never admit that she had an amazing date. She would never admit that the boy may have a spot growing in her heart. She would never admit she left her door unlocked. The week had come and gone in a flash for Naruto and Tsunade. Their constant dates and inner thoughts were a big help. Jiraiya had tried to get Shizune to help recreate the student-teacher magic Naruto and Tsunade had with him. That earned him 2 punches and the sunset Genjutsu. As the week came closer to an end, so did the joy. Everyone noticed that Tsunade seemed to get closer and closer on edge. Naruto couldn't dwell on it as much as he would have liked. He still needed to master his mother's technique. Just one more day, he thought, and the pig will be mine. Naruto-san, a kind voice spoke. Please wake up. Naruto had been having a dream of his Heims bathing in ramen. Needless to say, waking him up wouldn't be easy or pleasant. For them. When he did wake up, he could tell something was wrong. Shizune was distraught and Jiraiya's chakra was out of whack. What happened to him? Naruto asked. Tsunade-sama poisoned him, she answered. What did you do? Naruto asked. Did you try something perverted again? If he did that, he would be feeling some tough love again. Tsunade ran away, Shizune spoke. That means I win the bet by default, Naruto exclaimed. Come here, pig. Boink. What? Shizune exclaimed, pulling Taunton away. Why do you want her? I'm going to eat her, Naruto casually answered. Tsunade did wager her. This is serious, brat, Jiraiya spoke in an uncharacteristic way. Tsunade may be going to meet Orochimaru. What's the snake doing here? Naruto asked seriously. He's trying to get Tsunade-sama to join him, Shizune spoke, and if not, kill her, Jiraiya finished. Naruto quickly stood and drew his Kusanagi blade. He made a small cut and held his hand to Jiraiya. Drink, he ordered. Jiraiya did so and felt his chakra control return to normal. Naruto then expanded his sensing radar to its limit and came up with nothing. They're out of range, he spoke. I can't find them. Anton Kenshizun spoke. She can track Tsunade Sama through smell. Well, let's go. Do we have a plan? Shizun asked. Oh. My. Lord. Naruto exclaimed. What, do you sense them? Jiraiya asked. No, it's. Spit it out. Jiraiya shouted. Naruto pointed to the jumping Taunton at Spider Pig. He shouted Taunton as Spider Pig. It was impossible for Jiraiya and Shizun not to face fault. Too bad for them that they were in the middle of jumping through trees. On a serious note, Naruto spoke. I have a plan. What? I wasn't sure that Tsunade would come back willingly, Naruto admitted, and I knew he would be no help. No respect, Jiraiya mumbled. So I left a latent Genjutsu that I can activate at will. Well, activate it. Jiraiya ordered. What's your decision, Tsunade? Orochimaru asked. Join me and you can see your loved ones again. It's an easy choice, Tsunade thought. I choose. Tsunade-chan, a familiar voice called. What are you doing? Tsunade snapped around and her heart nearly broke in two. There, standing in front of her were the two most important people to her. Her little brother and former lover. Everyone else was gone from reality, not that she noticed. It was just her and her precious people. And Awaki, she couldn't believe her eyes. You're alive. No, Dan spoke. We died and passed on. You died for a pointless cause, Tsunade spoke to herself. Unfortunately they heard. We died for our village, Dan spoke tensely. The village your grandfather created. Yanawaki spoke proudly. It was our duty, we knew the risks. We died happy and proud, they spoke, knowing that the village had a chance to stand another day. What have you been doing? Nawaki asked. I bet you got that medic program going, right? Tsunade flinched and averted her shamed gaze from their hopeful ones. She couldn't tell them that she's been drowning in self-pity for over 10 years. What do I tell them? Then the memory struck. I've been offered the title Hokage, she spoke. Really? That's great. Nawaki cheered. How did that go? Dan asked in a knowing tone. Once again, Tsunade averted her gaze. Have you found a new precious person? Dan asked. No, never, Tsunade quickly answered. I've never had anyone since you. Dan gave her a critical look. Why? You're all I ever needed. She spoke. I've kept my memory of you in my heart. Sis, you're a moron, Nawaki spoke. We don't want you holding on to us, Dan spoke. Obviously we don't want to be forgotten. But we want you to live, to move on, Nawaki continued. Don't be a shell of yourself, Dan shouted. Be the woman I fell in love with. Be the woman I was proud to call sister. Nawaki joined the shinobi I wanted to be like. Tsunade couldn't hold back the tears she had built up. She let it out. She let out all those years of her self-pity and suffering. She fell to her knees and let them fall. Take them away, brat, Tsunade spoke. They've said enough. What gave me away? A disembodied voice asked. You called me Haim, she admitted. So what's your choice, Haim, they asked as one. Are you going to choose us or what we stood for? And like that the illusion was over. Tsunade? Orochimaru asked. My answer hasn't changed, she mumbled to herself. What was the dodge? He did, just in time to avoid a chakra-enhanced kick to the face. Naruto held an inner smirk. They had just arrived to an area of mass destruction. There wasn't a wall unshattered or a tree unsplit. Naruto knew his Genjutsu worked. Looks like Tsunade turned him down, Jiraiya spoke hard. Oink. So you did lead us to Tsunade, huh, pig? Naruto asked. You just earned yourself another day of life. He glared at the pig with hunger. Cherish each moment, pig, because my hunger grows. Naruto, stop threatening the pig, Jiraiya spoke. We need her to take us to Tsunade herself. Fine, though I could find her now. Anton wasted no time in following Tsunade's scent. The three humans were hot on her heels. We're here. They arrived to see Tsunade locked into combat with Orochimaru and Kabuto. That didn't include the two giant snakes that was summoned as well. Anton was exhausted from all the terror-induced run. Now she just wanted to relax but couldn't. Naruto was still there. That'll do, pig, that'll do, Naruto spoke before whispering. For now. It is I, Jiraiya of the. We know who you are. No respect, he mumbled. So you're here, Jiraiya, Orochimaru mused, and you brought Naruto-kun as well. The three Sannin jumped into position, each going through the same hand signs. Summoning jutsu. From the smoke came their familiars. Not just any, the boss of each species. From Jiraiya, Gamabunta, the chief toad. From Tsunade, Kitsaya, the slug boss. From Orochimaru, Manda, the colossal snake. Well, it seems we're all here, Gamabunta spoke. Manda locked eyes on all around him. Knowing Orochimaru, they were all his enemies. His eyes found and stayed on one human in particular. You, boy, he called. Are you the one that gave my kin a concussion? Yep. And I. The colossal snake charged for Naruto with unexpected speed. Whoa, snake, Naruto called as he dodged the first strike. Whoa. Manda reared back for a second strike. He never got the chance because of Naruto. The blonde raised the kusanagi and extended it with even faster speed than the snake. The blade pierced Manda through the mouth, forcing him to stay in place. Naruto grabbed his second sword and tapped the blade on the Kusanagi. He sent a powerful electric current toward the boss snake, causing him to dispel. When I say whoa, Naruto called, I mean whoa. Manda won't be happy about that, Gamabunta spoke. Naruto turned his eyes to the two remaining snake summons. Tell the other snakes what you saw. He ordered, let them know they better whoa when I say whoa. They gave a terrified nod before dispelling. Do you think I need them to take you weaklings on? Orochimaru asked. Yes. Yep. Boink. Silence, pig, Orochimaru ordered. Hey, Naruto shouted, that's Ms. Pig to you. He continued, respect my lunch. You haven't won the bet yet, Tsunade called. That's what she thinks, he though. Naruto, Jiraiya called, you hold off, Kabuto. Fine. Let's go, Naruto-kun, Kabuto called. Hey, Tsunade, Naruto called, I win. Kabuto charged forward with his hands glowing. Naruto didn't even remove his blindfold. Invert. Everything suddenly became a massive misdirection for Kabuto. He would raise his arms for defense in one spot, only to get a cut in another. The confused Kabuto didn't know where to strike, he could only endure the confused world. In less than a minute he was just a bloody husk. Where are you going, Naruto-kun? Kabuto asked, we're in the middle of a match here. How are you still alive? Naruto asked, I just punctured every vital spot you have. I have a healing factor almost as good as yours, Kabuto spoke. It was true, as they spoke his body was visibly sealing itself up. Naruto made his way to the healing trader. Be your worst, Kabuto spoke, I'll survive. But will you want to? Naruto asked. Shadow Clone Jutsu. They each drew their Kusanagi blade and impaled Kabuto, each blade pierced a pain receptor on the trader. Because of this he was frozen in place, unable to attack, defend or even remove the swords. Henge. They each took their half Naruto QB-like form. Wasting no time they began to tear into and eat Kabuto. Because of the healing he couldn't die, he had to endure it. Over. And over. And over. Kabuto could only scream. It almost reminded Naruto of his childhood. But I got stronger. Naruto-san, Shizune called, we need to get out of here, she spoke, the Sannin are beginning their battle. Then we'd miss the fun. Naruto answered. Give up, Orochimaru, Jiraiya called, you have no snakes and your henchman has been defeated. Is are his eating Kabuto? Tsunade asked. It was either him or you, pig, Jiraiya pointed. No choice, Orochimaru thought. The eight-headed serpent jutsu. Large masses of flesh began to form around Orochimaru's body. It began to quickly expand and take form. Instead of doing the smart thing and stopping him, they let it happen. Once finished, there was only a serpent. The creature consisted of 8 snake heads merging into just one body. Each head and body were larger than even Manda, the snake boss. From one of the heads Orochimaru appeared. Why? Was all Tsunade asked. Now you will all die. The snake Sannin shouted. Each head struck the other 2 boss summons. The blow forced them to lose balance and Gamabunta to drop his dagger, leaving them open for attack. The remaining head struck the vulnerable boss summons, fangs bared. Gamabunta, Jiraiya called dispel. The toad Sannin knew the serpent would be poisoned. Itsai on the other hand was able to break apart into multiple pieces, avoiding the bite. Hey snake, Naruto called, waving the Kusanagi, don't you want your sword back? Naruto-san, Shizune called, what are you doing? I'm gaining his attention, Naruto answered. HISSSS. It looks like it worked, Shizune spoke. You might want to leave, Naruto spoke. Naruto began to pull out several large amounts of ninja wire and coiled it around himself. On the wires were countless amount of high-powered explosive tags. Shizune saw this and took his advice. One of the snake heads struck toward Naruto. He detonated the tags. Naruto would have been swallowed if he hadn't jumped into the snake's mouth. No one noticed the trail of explosives he left behind. The snake's head showed a sign of surprise before it expanded and blew to pieces. Naruto stood there on the ground as if he hadn't been in the snake's mouth. For the second time. Shin no Ippu. Stage 3. He was fear once more. He jumped high into the air, this would leave a normal shinobi vulnerable. The snake head charged him, mouth wide. Naruto raised his elemental sword and gave a hard vertical cut. He unleashed a sharp vertical line of compressed air. It easily cut through the snake's head, cleaving it down the middle. The air continued on to a place we could never understand. Naruto landed on the thrashing stump. Hey, Tsunade, Naruto called, I win. Naruto jumped off the snake's back into the air. He sheathed his sword as another snake head came at him from the side. No one saw him redraw his blade, all they saw was the snake get torn to shreds. It continued on as Naruto trailed the snake's body. Naruto, Jiraiya called, those heads are pointless. He shouted, you need to stop the one with Orochimaru in it. Fine. Naruto put a lot of distance between him and the snake beast. He raised the Kusanagi blade and took aim. He extended it with great accuracy, he pierced the snake with Orochimaru. The snake tried to wriggle free, but Naruto kept turning along with the snake. I have him, Naruto called, hit him with whatever you got. I have this, Tsunade shouted, wielding Gamabunta's dagger. With a massive swing she beheaded the main head. As it fell to the ground, Jiraiya followed with his own attack. Rasengan. The attack tore through the remainder of the snake body, but it didn't stop there. It continued on through straight toward Orochimaru. When he finished, the snake Sannin was gasping in pain. Now Orochimaru. Naruto spoke. How do you intend to make it out of this? He asked. Those words won't work, I just mastered one of my mom's techniques, and Anko isn't here. The snake Sannin gave a strained smirk. I think I'll just let you keep Tayuya and call it even. Orochimaru spoke. What? Naruto asked tightly. If you let me go, he spoke slowly, then Tayuya will live. He smirked at the look on Naruto's face. Did you really think I wouldn't find out about her betrayal? He asked. I've just been waiting for the right moment. Well, you'll never get it, Jiraiya spoke as he began weaving hand signs. Stop, Naruto ordered. Let him go. Are you? I will not put one of my Heims in danger, Naruto spoke as he drew his sword, even if I have to cut you down. The two shinobi, Echunin and Sannin, had a glaring contest. Only one had noticed Orochimaru had already grabbed Kabuto and left. Well, thanks a lot, Jiraiya drawled. He got away again. He turned to the Chunin. We didn't even know if the threat was legit. Exactly, Naruto spoke. There were too many ways for it to be real, and not enough for it to be fake. Enough. Tsunade stated. He's gone, so let's get some sake. They did exactly that. Well, taunted, Naruto spoke. You've been a big help, but it's time for your final duty. Boink. Being my food. He answered as his jaw unhinged like a snake. Boink. Please, Naruto-san. Shizune begged. Don't eat her. Naruto paid her no mind. Naruto, I order you to leave Taunton alone. Tsunade spoke boldly. And why should I do that? Naruto asked with an inner smirk. It's an order, she spoke just as boldly, but with a sincere smile. From you, Hokage. So you've decided to accept? Jiraiya asked happily, earning a nod. That's great. That's a nice try, Naruto spoke, but even the last Hokage wouldn't be able to stop me. Then do it as a request, she spoke a little more shyly. For your Heim. Naruto re-hinged his jaw like it never happened. He gave Taunton a sincere smile before setting her down. He looked toward the trio of humans and spoke. Anything for my Heim. 4 shinobi and a pig that had been allowed to live were returning to their home village. If you don't know who they are, then you haven't been reading this story properly. Look like I'm back, Konoha. Tsunade spoke in a nostalgic tone. They made their way to the entrance guards. Name, they asked. Jiraiya and Naruto. Returning from mission, Jiraiya stated. What mission? Retrieving Tsunade of the Sannin. Hey, Shid had a lovely voice called. Where have you been? Yu Heim, Naruto called. I've missed you. Tsunade watched with interest as Naruto shared a kiss with the foul-mouthed girl. Between the kisses, Naruto asked if she had any trouble from sound. Yu proceeded to curse a storm at Naruto for letting Orochimaru get away. She was one of his elite guards, Naruto thought to himself. After had their fill, they separated and Yu took notice of the others. Who the hell are they? She asked. This is Jiraiya. Hello, lovely lady, Jiraiya spoke. How would you like to? It's Jiraiya, a voice spoke, causing his blood to run cold. Let's show him our love. They began to brandish weapons. Our tough love. The pervert ran as if the Shinigami was after him. Shizune and Taunton. That's a damn pig, Yu stated. How come you haven't eaten it yet? I tried, he admitted. Yu gave the pig a hard stare. You've survived his hunger. You don't know how lucky you are. This is Tsunade, our new Hokage, Naruto finished greeting. She got bigger tits than melon tits, Yu exclaimed. 106 centimeters to be exact, a certain pervert exclaimed from a distance. Oh Kami, no not my HHH. Where is Samui Heim and QB Heim? Naruto asked. Melon tits is only an ambassador, Yu stated. She does need to head home every now and again. She explained, and Fuzzy is training those foxes. Huh? He stated. What, I'm not good enough company for you? Yu asked. Of course you are, Naruto quickly spoke. You're my Heim, but so are they. He saw her look. I love each of you equally, I have no favorites. Then take me out, Yu ordered. Tonight. Can I join? Tsunade asked. Hey monster tit, Yu shouted. Why do you think you? Yu Heim meet Tsunade Heim. Naruto cut her off with a new introduction. Nice to meet you, Tsunade. Be ready by 7. She turned back to Naruto. I want sake. I like her already, Naruto, Tsunade stated. Naruto stood in front of his Hokage, Hiruzen. The aged Hokage would be stepping down, but until then he had a few headaches to deal with. One big one was from Naruto after a mission. He met 2 S-rank rogues. I was minding my own business. Bullshit. They came to me. Challenged one to a Genjutsu match. I had to keep damages low. Knocked Sasuke Uchiha unconscious. Gave Gaia Tortoise 2 strips at Uchiha and leave him with his fangirls. He had to suppress a shudder. Punishment. You then made a deal with a broken woman. Former broken woman. That would have decided the fate of the village. Yep. You then, you know what, no, just go to your Heims. Naruto was in a good mood. He had a new Heim which he was taking out later. The Hokage would finally get to retire as he should have. Now they pop, a familiar voice called. Naruto turned and saw the Inuzuka clan head standing in front of him. "Hello Tsume-chan," Naruto greeted. "How can I help you?" "Well, I was about to go get some." She paused and looked around. "Delicious and amazing ramen." Tsume gave a nod and Naruto understood, the ramen was near. He couldn't sense it with chakra, but he knew. The ramen monster was always watching, always waiting. "Yes," Naruto agreed. "Let's get some mouth-watering ramen." After a bowl for Tsume and 8 for Naruto, he needed to save room for his dessert. They talked. The topic was the same as always, his mother. When they finished, Naruto decided to drop her off at her clan compound. "I have something for you," Naruto. Tsume spoke. Tsume had his full attention since she early used his name, so it must have been important. She handed him a heart-shaped necklace. He examined it in a confused manner. "What is it?" he asked. "Open it, pup." Naruto did and was greeted with an unsuspected sight. He saw a beautiful bright red-haired woman looking back at him. She had deep blue eyes that stared lovingly at him and flawlessly fair skin. Naruto had never seen this woman before, but knew she was Kushina Uzumaki. His mother? Naruto didn't know what to say. He didn't need to imagine anymore, he could finally see what his mother looked like. He was so overcome with emotion that he grabbed Tsume and pulled her into a hug. Tsume was shocked but understood, she pulled him into a tighter embrace. "Thank you Tsume-chan," Naruto said through tears. "How can I ever repay you?" This time she pushed away and averted her gaze. "Naruto, do you remember what you did to the Hokage?" she asked. Naruto understood immediately. "Who do you want to see?" he asked, "or would you like to experience something?" "I have had a mate," she admitted, "but I feel like I'm forgetting him with each passing moment." She gave Naruto a desperate look. "We Inuzuka choose our mates carefully and for life. He was your one and only." Naruto spoke in semi-understanding what happened to him. "I told the kids that I ran him away," she shamefully admitted, "but that's not true, he died in the QB attack." She paused, making sure Naruto wasn't uncomfortable. "Since we Inuzuka are life mates, I've had a long time of isolation." "Relax," Naruto soothed as he removed his blindfold and gazed deeply into her eyes. "What do you want?" "I want to remember my mate," she blushed before adding, "I want you to use your eyes on me," she stated seriously, "to make me forget the pain of my lost mate, just for a little while." Naruto never thought that he'd get a request like that in his life. Everything pointed to him getting the exact opposite, but he understood the pain. "No," he answered, "instead let me treat you out, as a friend. But if you don't enjoy yourself then I'll use my eyes." Tsume was a little hesitant but agreed. Naruto had gathered his Heims, Mina Samui and Tsume. After a bit of discussion and cursing, he decided to take them to a bar, not the one he had taken Anko to. He could tell she wasn't in a mile radius. This diner was actually open very recently, luckily it had a bar. The bar occupants had taken one look at Naruto and kept a 10 feet distance from his dates. The rumors of Naruto's last bar visit had been spread like wildfire. "Why the cold shoulder?" Tsume asked. "I had a date in a bar with Anko once," Naruto answered. "It ended in a bar fight. Everything was shattered after that as well." A voice spoke from behind. "Who the hell are you?" Taiyuya asked. "The owner," he answered. "Get us some damn sake," then Taiyuya ordered. "I'm the owner, not a bartender," he retorted before turning to Naruto. "Don't wreck anything." "No promises," Naruto returned, causing the man to storm off mumbling about insurance. "Shall we take a seat?" QB asked. They had taken a seat in a booth opposite the bar. The night had been relatively simple but very pleasant. Naruto did his best to give Tsume what she wanted and seemed to be succeeding. "Taiyuya," Naruto spoke, "there's something I wanted to talk to you about." "Oh Kami, this is it." Taiyuya spoke in an uncharacteristically meek tone. "What is?" Naruto asked. "You're breaking up with me, aren't you?" she asked, standing up. "You want a divorce?" "What? No." Naruto answered hastily. "You're replacing me with monster tits and this wolf bitch." She started. "Is that it?" "It is, isn't it?" "No." Tsume was cut off by a punch from Taiyuya. The blow knocked her out of her seat. "You brought me to this damn bar so I wouldn't make a fucking scene, didn't you?" Taiyuya grabbed the nearest stool, which happened to be occupied by a customer. "Well, I'll make a fucking scene." She raised the stool high into the air. "Taiyuya Haim." Naruto spoke in a tone his Heims had never heard. "I'm not breaking up with you, in fact it's the opposite. Oh, she spoke embarrassed. "Why did you think I was about to break up with you?" Naruto asked. "Because I don't have a pretty face," she mumbled, her large tits. "Taiyuya," the other girl spoke sympathetically. "You know Naruto doesn't care about that." Taiyuya looked away in shame, before answering in a weak voice, "I know." Excuse me," a terrified voice called. "I don't mean to interrupt, but could you put me down?" They turned to the voice only to find a man on the stool Taiyuya was wielding. She said nothing as she tossed the stool and him aside. "My leg." "Who told you that you don't have a pretty face?" Naruto asked. "You're beautiful." Taiyuya said nothing, she didn't need to. Her eyes wandered to the men in the bar eyeing his himes, minus her. So that's it, she's jealous. Naruto stood up and walked toward the bar. He ordered the strongest and most expensive sake they owned. I'm so disappointed in you, Naruto spoke. You let the ones who called me a demon get to you. He looked around. Most of these people are simple-minded bigots. He gave the occupants a glare. They eye women as if they were a piece of meat to be eaten and throw the scraps away. He stared straight at her. Do you want to be treated like that? No, she whispered. Then don't let them affect you. He gave his himes a loving look. You all are beautiful in my eyes. Thanks, shithead, Taiyuya spoke. Now Naruto shouted in a cheery tone, let's try to get drunk and watch me fail at it. Tsume had to admit that she had a good evening. Naruto gave her what she wanted, the absence of a broken heart. Naruto had treated her as if she was one of his himes. But all too soon it came to an end. They were once again in front of Tsume's clan house. This time his himes were standing a bit away so Tsume and he could have some privacy. I had a great evening, pup. Tsume spoke. Thanks. You're welcome, Naruto spoke. Sorry if it got awkward with my himes. He looked toward her cheek and the punch. No prob, she waved it off honestly. I glad I tried your way. She admitted I would hate myself if I forgot my mate, even for a second. She puissed as she rubbed her cheek. Taiyuya can throw a mean punch. Tsume pulled Naruto into a tight hug and… Mom? Dope. Naruto turned to see both Kiba and Hana staring at the pair. Kiba had on a look of anger and disgust. Hana had a look of anger and betrayal. Hello Kiba, Hana. Naruto greeted. Don't just hello us, dope. Kiba shouted. Mom, Hana shouted again. What are you doing with Naruto? Are you seeing him? She looked at their position. You are, aren't you? She accused. Why? Tsume asked, causing Hana to freeze up in confusion. Why what? Hana asks. Why do you care if I see Naruto? Tsume asks calmly. Hana tried to give a reply but faltered on her tongue. It didn't help that her mother was giving her the mom look when caught trying to lie. The one that pierces every nerve. Naruto. Tsume spoke, not taking her eyes off Hana. Thank you for the evening, but… No need to say it, Naruto spoke. Same time tomorrow at Ichiraku. Yes. They had walked from the Inyazukas in a tense silence. Tsunade didn't know why and felt out of the loop. Naruto. Tsunade spoke. Who was that? Hana. Inyazuka. Naruto answered in an unusual tone. Tsume's daughter. Why do you seem off? Tsunade asked, never noticing Kyubi and Taiyuya trying to warn her. That is a story for another night. Are you planning on making Tsume a hime? Kyubi quickly asked. No, Naruto answered, she's just a good friend. Hello Naruto. A lazy voice spoke. Lovely evening for a stroll on the road of life. What the hell do you want, Kakashi? Taiyuya asked. Sasuke and I. Naruto. A voice called. I have such youthful news. It was Guy Lee's. Indoor voice. Everyone stated in monotone. Sorry, Guy spoke sheepishly. They're coming, the eggs are coming. What eggs? Kakashi asked calmly. The ones Guts and Grit will have. Guy answered. Guts and Grit? Taiyuya asked, what the hell kind of name is that? Well, Lee's turtle. No, Kakashi whispered. And my tortoise. No, it was louder. We'll have youthful eggs. How the hell is that possible? Naruto asked. Their shells shouldn't allow that. The blonde paused to think. Wait, I just gave you that tortoise. True, Guy agreed. Their shells did get in the way. He seemed upset over that, but when Lee and I saw their determination we knew we had to help spread the… Don't say it. Kakashi ordered. I'm warning you, he shouted. The youth. Arg. Lee and I saw their devotion to each other so we aided them. How could we not help them show each other their love? There were tears of joy in Guy's eyes. Naruto, we would like for you to be their godfather. You wait, I'm your rival, Kakashi stated. Shouldn't I be the godfather? Your flames have went out. Guy stated in a tone most didn't know he was capable of. I would be honored, Naruto spoke cheerfully. But Guy cheered. Lee is guarding them, so will you help me make a safe place for the eggs? He turned to his himes. Go ahead. They spoke. The two were off in a flash. Wait, Guy. Kakashi ran after them. Now that he is gone, Tsunade spoke. I want the truth about Hana, she ordered, and any others. There were other. Kyubi whispered. It all started on a shitty day. Taiyuya started. Tsunade was pissed. No, that was an understatement. She was feeling rage that couldn't be measured by normal standards. Tsunade had finally gotten the answers she wanted from Taiyuya and Kyubi, all of it, that included the former himes. Those hussies, she would have her revenge. No one messes with my man. But that would have to wait. The citizens of Konoha, both shinobi and civilian alike, were gathered. They stood in a crowd around the center of the village looking up to a balcony. On that balcony was the Hokage making a public announcement. Citizens of Konoha, Sarutobi spoke. I am finally retiring as the Hokage. There was a chorus of protest to the aged shinobi. Now, I leave you in good hands. There was a round of applause. He motioned toward the entrance of the balcony. Out stepped Naruto in his full glory, a shit-eating smile on his face. A cold silence fell over the entire village. We're all going to die. Someone spoke. Quickly another shouted, kill yourself while you have the chance. I'm not senile enough to leave Naruto in charge. Yet the aged shinobi spoke. Citizens of Konoha. Sarutobi shouted, I give you your 6th Hokage. Tsunade Senju. Naruto shouted. Tsunade stepped out onto the balcony in full Hokage robes. There was another round of applause for the new village leader. One of the civilians, a council member, spoke. Should we really make her our leader? He asked, silencing the crowd. She abandoned the village and became a wandering drunken gambler. Many seemed to consider his idea, plus she's so old and… He went silent. Everyone was staring at No beside him. Where Naruto stood. They made eye contact. The man felt himself become stiff. His skin became tough with bark and his bones felt as brittle as the branch on a tree. The very blood in his body became thick and slowed as if trapped in his small veins. Naruto had turned another person into a tree. Anyone else want to question my Haim's right to lead? Naruto asked the crowd as he returned to his Haim's side. Questions? Who questioning? Not us. Shut up and take our ramen. The citizens had learned one thing about Naruto. His Haims were his life. Mess with them and you were lucky to die with your sanity intact. Well, citizen, Sarutobi spoke again. I can assure you that Tsunade is a changed person. He looked at their expected faces. I expect her to be an even better Hokage than me. Naruto stepped forward. How many of you actually think Tsunade is old? He asked. Just give me a show of hands. No one made any movements. How many of you aren't answering because you think I'll punish you? The forest of hands. Well, I'll have to fix that. Naruto stated. He walked toward Tsunade and dropped his blindfold. He lowered the new Hokage and delivered a passionate kiss that made her legs wobbly. And former Haims jealous. When he finished he stood back. Please drop your illusion, Naruto requested. What? Tsunade asked in shock. Trust me. He pleaded. Tsunade couldn't turn him down with the look he was making. Fine, she grumbled, but don't complain when you see how unfine your wine is. Tsunade dropped her Genjutsu and stared at Naruto. She had expected him to have a look of shock or disgust on his face. All she saw was his constant loving gaze. Still fine to me, Naruto stated honestly. That's sweet, Naruto. Tsunade spoke in relief, but look at all these wrinkles. What wrinkles? Sarutobi asked. Naruto drew both his swords and held them together. Thanks to all the care he gave them, they were polished to perfection. Tsunade could see her reflection and was shocked. I thought I released the disguise. She tried again. And again. And again. Why won't it release? After several more tries she gave up and looked towards Naruto's smug smile. What is he? She noticed Sarutobi's as well. My Genjutsu is real, he spoke, placing it on another as child's play. He gloated. This my gift to you, Tsunade. Naruto spoke for the village hidden in the leaves. He shouted to the mass below, I give you Tsunade Senju in her prime. The roaring cheers could be heard all the way to Kumo. He's given me a second chance, she though. There was so much she could do now without limit. Things she could enjoy once again. Make up for missed opportunities and fix old mistakes. What are you going to do now? Sarutobi asked. She looked toward Naruto. You. My room. Now. You all know how that goes. You called for me, Hokage-sama. Naruto chuckled. Yes, she answered, if this doesn't make me his favorite, nothing will. I have something for you, Naruto, she spoke as she handed him a scroll. I'm sure you love it. Of course I will, Naruto stated with a smile as he began reading. Any gift from Haim is. Well, Tsunade spoke with a smug grin. How is it? There was one thing Tsunade knew about Naruto, he was sweet to his Haims. What she didn't know was that he was one crazed bastard. All she had seen of him was strength and devotion. Never his madness. Haha. I hope you remember that laugh. It was Tsunade's first time hearing it and she knew someone is screwed. Hard. And… beep. The Hokage's office was full of 12 shinobi and the former Hokage. They were the remains of Team 7, Kiba, Ino, the former Haims and their men. You shinobi have been summoned to pay for past crimes. Tsunade spoke. What crimes? Ino asked. Team 7. You two have attempted to sabotage a fellow shinobi. No names were needed. Chen. He's a dope. He's a baka. You say something. Asuma Sarutobi. Countless of sexual harassment. Every female and his father glared at him. Your record is second only to Jiraiya's. Well, he had nothing to say. Kiba Inuzuka. Destroying property during your clan's manhunt for Naruto. He kept us up all night. Kiba shouted. Ino Yamanaka. Interfering with a match during the Chunin exams. But he got me in trouble with daddy. She whined. Iruka Yamino. Several counts of coming to work drunk. Everyone had a shocked look on their face. Iruka. Anko asked. This is my innocent Iruka. Don't you all look at me like that, he spoke. Some of the kids idolized Naruto and now hate me. He explained, I'm just under a lot of stress. Hell, Naruto is training some of them. Hey Echo. Breaking the third's law during the Chunin exams. I have Ankoff excuse. he quickly answered. Yes, Tsunade spoke sarcastically. The demon made you do it, we heard it all before. What about us, Hokage-sama? Yugao asked. What are our crimes? You four have large records of assault on men, Tsunade spoke. They were perverts. They countered as one. I know and I approve your actions, Tsunade said, shocking them. You just made one mistake. Which is? You four got caught. Hiruzen answered. Castrated men tend to hold a grudge. What are our punishments? Ino asked. Pay a fine for everyone you assaulted, or? Since these crimes coexist with the same person at simple. Tsunade had an oddly familiar smirk. You all will have to get Naruto to accept your apology. So we're paying a fine. Hate spoke. No, they'll pay a fine, Saratobi corrected. You'd be executed. Hokage-sama, this is completely unfair. Kurenai shouted. You are abusing your power. What do you mean? Tsunade asked calmly. You're setting it up so Naruto can have payback. Hana stated. There's no way he'd accept our apology. I am just helping a loyal shinobi of the leaf gain more power. Tsunade corrected angrily. Something that you should have done, Shido, as she glared at Kakashi. It just happens that there are certain people in need of punishment for past crimes. There is a way to get the apology, Tsunade spoke after she calmed herself. It was an idea by Naruto. They began to pale. What would we have to do? Ino asked. Sign this. She produced a scroll. It says that for 1 hour, Naruto can have his revenge in any way. They paled even further. As long as he doesn't kill or cripple you, everything is free game. She continued. You will be able to try and defend yourself, but so do we pay to you directly or? Kurenai asked, cutting her off. Kurenai, Kakashi called, cutting her off as well. You're passing up a free ticket. Cyclops, he will do things that make our assaults on perverts look pretty. Anko stated. We've actually updated some of our interrogation methods using his ideas. Even Ibiki found those cruel. Hiruzen mumbled to himself. Some of us don't have a choice. Hate stated. He signed. I need my smoke money. Asuma stated. He signed. If I can drink then I can't teach. Hiruka stated. He signed. I don't fear the dope. Sasuke stated. I can take whatever he's got. He signed. If Sasuke-kun goes, then so do I. Sakura shouted. She signed. I won't let forehead one-up me. Ino stated. She signed. I can't let 2 girls be tougher than me. Kiba stated. He signed. I could teach Naruto a thing or two. Kakashi stated. He signed. I'm paying the fine. The mistresses spoke as one. Since you four knew Naruto better than the ones who signed, Hiruzen spoke. Any advice for them? Yes. First we recommend pissing yourselves, Hana started. Then praying to whoever you believe in, Kurenai continued. Then kissing your asses goodbye. Anko finished. I'm not afraid of the dope, Sasuke stated. None of us are. Asuma spoke. Tsunade leaned forward with Hiruzen as one. They spoke. You should be, they whispered, and you will. Naruto had never felt this good. Not when he became a shinobi. Not when he gained his first batch of Harems. Not when he gained his power. There was only one thing that ever rivaled the happiness he was feeling. It was pain, the pain of betrayal and heartbreak. The one he felt that made him want to end his life. He was currently making his way toward his destination, the Shinobi Academy. Now he only had to wait. News of the deal had spread all across the village. Everyone was present as the shinobi made their way to the destination, the academy. Both shinobi and civilian, young and old. The mistresses were the only ones not to sign. They knew what Naruto could do, they trained him after all. There goes some foolish souls, one shouted. Dead men walking, Zabuza stated. That is what they have been hearing since they left the Hokage's office. They have had enough. Enough. Kiba shouted. We call for Konoha's elites. Hate shouted. There is no way the dope can defeat any of us. Sasuke shouted. They arrived to the academy, the Konohamaru Corps. Stood in front of the entrance. Abandon all hope, they spoke eerily low, and as one ye who enter here. That's not reassuring. Ino whimpered. Don't tell me you're scared. Then no, Ino shouted. You should be the Corps. Spoke again and you will. They entered the academy. Are they in? Jiraiya asked. Yes, Tsunade answered. So you're sure you can get him to drop the Genjutsu for me if I do this for you? He asked. He had found out about it when he realized no one else could see it. Yes, now do it, you pervert. Tsunade ordered. Perverted style. Widespread peeping. Now everyone in the village would be able to see what was happening in the academy. Chapter end. So how was the story? I hope you like it. And if you like it, share this story with your friends and like the video too. And don't forget to subscribe our channel for daily awesome fanfiction. Okay, it's time for me to go. Bye bye.